wear a necklace, but it's okay.
Good evening. It is Thursday, January 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We are at the District Service Center in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. We would like to acknowledge that the land in which we gather is the land of the Mdewakanton Dakota people. Mdewakanton means dwellers of the Spirit Lake. Our first item on the agenda is roll call. Dana?
Ryan Clark.
Here.
Sharon Van Leer.
Here.
Eric Tessmer.
Here.
Pat Driscoll.
Here.
Melinda Doles.
Here.
Simi Petniak is absent. Katie Schwartz.
Here.
May Furden.
Here.
Delana Manning.
Here.
Lydia Sabuksa.
Here.
2.0, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.0 is the approval of our agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I'd like to have a motion to amend the agenda, please.
It has already been motioned and seconded.
Well, maybe perhaps we can give some time then. Huh?
Okay, so that was moved by Sharon and seconded by Melinda. Any comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
One opposed. Motion passes. Okay, 4.0 is comment to the board. At this time, individuals may speak to the school board on any item relating to South Washington County Schools. The board will not respond to or discuss your comments, character abuse, or specific complaints identifying students, staff, students, or task force members will not be permitted. The superintendent may be asked to prepare a response to your concerns. The comments to the board period will be held open for up to 30 minutes in total. Each speaker is permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes in total. The school board will allow up to 3 speakers per topic. At 3 minutes, the microphone will be turned off, and we will move on to the next speaker or agenda item. We do have one person. On to 5.0, and that is our student district ambassadors, and that will be introduced by Superintendent Julie Nielsen.
Good evening. It is always that exciting night when our students get to join us here, and I know they're very excited. They got to take selfies with themselves on the video camera already. We kind of go through what it looks like to be up at the board. So this evening we have 3 students with us, and I'm going to start with May Furden. May, do you want to go ahead and start by introducing yourself?
My name is May. I am a 5th grader, and I go to Liberty Ridge Elementary.
And May, what do you enjoy most about being a student leader?
I like the opportunity to connect with other student leaders on what happens in their schools.
And May shared with me something interesting that they're doing at Liberty Ridge. And so May, do you want to share that with our board and with the people in the audience?
This year at Liberty Ridge, we have started a program called Striker Squad. It is a group of kids from 5th grade that go around the school and do jobs like helping at recess and lunch and with kindergarten classes and at assemblies.
And what's your favorite part about that? What is one recent thing that you have done with students?
Well, I get to organize assemblies specifically, and I get to speak at the assemblies, which is really fun.
Fabulous. So lots of opportunities to lead. When you think about being in the classroom and what motivates you to learn, what would you say about that, May?
My teacher, Miss Weber, is really good at motivating me and my class to learn. But I'm also motivated by what my future holds, like going to college and getting a good job.
And you have been to, I believe, 3 meetings down here at District Service Center. So when the space isn't set up like this, we have tables out with students. What have you learned as part of your representation and being a student ambassador?
I have really come to understand what the student voice really means to this district.
Yep. And can you just share with our board just some of the different things? Like today, what did we talk about today?
Well, we talked a lot about like how it's important for our students to have healthy meals, specifically at lunch and breakfast. And we got to try lots of new foods, which was really fun.
And May, your favorite today, they had so many different samples coming in because remember, their voice of French toast stick A or French toast stick B really matters. And so,
Yeah.
May, do you want to share what your favorite was?
Well, I really like trying the sauces, but I also really hope we can do tater tot hot dish in the school lunches.
And her follow-up to the tater tot hot dish, not to embarrass her dad that's in the audience, she said today during Ambassadors, I sure wish they could make tater tot hot dish like my dad. Eric, be careful there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our middle school student. Delana, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Delana. I'm in 8th grade and I attend Oatman Middle School. The best thing about being a student leader would be including my voice and being heard. I feel most motivated to learn when I think about my future, my parents, and I want people to remember my name. Some positive experiences I've had in school would be receiving support from my friends and staff members like Zach. A few things I've learned about the district are how much is actually being done and how much things like student board truly matter. Lastly, if I could make any program, I would call it Pioneers, where kids can come after school and make new friends and just have fun in general.
And Delana, we did a lot of different trivia today, so I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. But do you remember we did nutrition services today, so they got to learn a lot about the meal planning and everything that goes behind. But we talked about ovens. We don't have microwaves, remember? Mm-hmm. No microwaves, maybe to melt a little margarine or butter. But do you remember how much the cost of one of those ovens was? And we have 4 or 5 in our high schools. What did they cost?
$30,000 to $35,000.
30 to 35,000. We had students guessing a couple thousand, a couple hundred, and then when we said 30 to 35,000, they thought, oh my goodness, that's a lot for an oven. But they are big industrial ovens. Thank you. Lydia.
My name is Lydia Saboksa, and I'm a junior attending Eastridge High School. First, I want to thank Ms. Nielsen and the rest of the board for having me here tonight. Although there are always lots of things going on at Eastridge, being a member of Student Cabinet is very interesting to me because we get to be a pair of eyes and ears from a student's perspective for our school, while also getting insight on the upcoming changes to our school and give out opinions on how we feel about them. For example, the construction going on for the extension to our building, or how we feel about relearning and retaking time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Another interesting thing that is happening at our school pretty soon is our Black History Month event in February. Our Black Student Union looks forward to it every year, and it's so special and exciting to participate in and also see the amazing outcome of people at our events. If you couldn't tell yet, I'm very involved in school activities and extracurriculars, and what keeps me motivated to learn new things and always try my best in school are my parents. Growing up as a first-generational student has changed my view on school and how important it is to succeed in school. I think of school as a privilege, not a right, which is exactly what it is. Many times when you ask an immigrant what made them want to come to America, they will say it's for their children's education, and I'll always be grateful to my mom and dad for that. One of my favorite things overall about the school district and being a student ambassador is seeing just how many people put effort into students from kindergarten all the way to high school. Whether it's about the school lunch we eat, the cultural events happening at our school, or finding more ways to educate students about Native American heritage, this group of people are always putting the students as their #1 priority, and I'm very proud to be a part of this. Thank you.
And as leaders, the assistant superintendents and myself, we feel so lucky to have the students come down, and it's amazing from that first time down of being quiet as they enter. Now they're all interacting. Some of you may remember Charlotte from our last meeting. And Charlotte helped Elena. She came up to her and said, "You're going to be fine. This isn't so hard. Look at yourself in the TV up here, right? You're kind of glancing up there like, oh, that's me." And so we just really have a great time. And I think the students have the opportunity to not only share their voices, but to meet other students across the district. So thank you to our 3 students tonight for representing their schools.
Thank you. On to 6.0, and that is our consent items. All consent items are considered routine and non-controversial by the school board and will be approved by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Prior to the meeting, board members have had the opportunity to review each of these items and may request that any item be moved to an action item for individual consideration. That did not happen this evening, so can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Sharon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, 7.0 was information items. We do not have any this evening. On to 8.0, we do have some action items. 8.1 is sale of certificate of participation series 2025A, and that will be presented by Chris Blackburn, Director of Business Services.
So I have Kleenex in my pocket, cough drops, and some water. So thanks this evening. Good evening, Chair Schwartz, members of the board, Superintendent Nielsen, and student ambassadors. It's wonderful to have you here. It's always fun to hear your stories. Tonight, I'm pleased to have Jody Zesba of Ehlers Associates to present the results of the sale of certificates of participation, Series 2025A. The lease purchase financing was recommended to fund the transition program project. The pre-sale and resolution were presented at the August 22nd, 2024 meeting. The sale was delayed until after the district closed on the purchase of the property, which occurred in December. Following Jody's presentation, the board will be asked to adopt the resolution ratifying the award of sale of certificates of participation, Series 2025A. Jody will now review the results of the sale.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everyone. So I think we've been talking about this for probably close to a year now, so we'll just give the final results now that we got this morning, which turned out great. So if you look at the first page of your sale day report, we're mentioning that we're financing the acquisition and remodeling of the existing building to provide instructional services for students in the special education transition program and consolidating that program, so that's going to gain some efficiencies there, which is great. The rating that was assigned is a A2. Moody's also affirmed the district's underlying A1 rating, but they generally, for certificates of participation or annual appropriation debt, generally assign a rating that's 1 category lower than your general obligation debt, since it's a little less secure and a little more risky. So that is from an investor perspective. So that is the rating that was assigned. We received 5 bids, which was great to see. We generally only get 2 to 3 bids on certificates of participation. So as of yesterday, we had 2 bidders signed up. This morning there were 3, and then when the results came in, there were 5. So really great to see that level of interest. KeyBank Capital Markets Incorporated out of Cleveland, Ohio was the low bidder at a 4.03% rate. They also gave a little higher premium on the bid, so we were able to issue a lower debt amount and still finance the amount that you need for your project costs. So you'll see that we are issuing $8,980,000, and the board, I believe, had authorized up to $9,445,000. So we're under that amount. In the notes at the bottom of this first page, you'll see that the true interest cost of 4.03% is lower than the 4.33, which we were estimating about a month ago. So we were glad to see the interest rate come in lower than that estimate. And as a result of that, the principal and interest payments are almost $300,000 less than we were estimating a month ago, about $600,000 more than when we first put the schedules together. So we've been kind of refining that rate as we've been getting closer to the sale date. But if you look back at the schedules that were included in your review and comment, we are well below those estimated amounts. So we will have a call date on the certificates, similar to when we sell bonds for you, and we've taken advantage of those call dates a number of times over the years in order to save money for your taxpayers. So we refund or refinance the debt, similar to refinancing or refinancing a home mortgage, and the savings then doesn't go back to the district's budget, but instead must be passed on to your taxpayers in terms of lower debt service rate. So we will certainly keep monitoring this issue, just like we do all of your other outstanding debt issues for refunding or refinancing opportunities and savings to your taxpayers. We did already have sign off on the proposal form. You did have a parameters resolution in place, so as long as the true interest cost rate was less than 5%, and it was 4.03, then there were authorized individuals to sign off on the proposal form, so that part has already been taken care of. You do have the resolution before you tonight now just to ratify the award of the sale. So I'll go through the attachments quickly. The first one is the bid tab with the 5 different bidders. So the low bidder, Key Bank out of Cleveland, Ohio at 4.0264. Closely behind by FHN Financial Capital Markets out of Memphis, Tennessee at a 4.0369. And then you got a bid from Baird out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Hilltop Securities out of Dallas, and the high bidder was Northland Securities out of Minneapolis at a 4.5486. So all pretty close bidders, all within the parameter that was established by the board. And nice to see some interest from throughout the country. So next we have updated schedules, and these again were initially included as part of the review and comment that you were required to submit to MDE to get approval to move forward with the project. We provided some updated schedules in August and then again a month ago. So the updated sources and uses schedule, the most important number on this schedule really is the deposit to the construction fund. You've been working with Kraus Anderson on this project, and their estimates of the project costs are $9,190,000. So we'll be depositing $9,192,495. So you'll have sufficient funds to cover the estimated project costs. And then the payment schedule is on attachments page 4. And again, this is about $300,000 less than what we were estimating about a month ago, but almost $600,000 less than when we first put the schedules together for that review and comment submission. Next, you have 2 rating reports. So when you issue debt, Moody's has us go through the process of taking a look at all of the different components that they consider important as part of assigning the rating to the district. And both Julie and Chris participated in that process again, did a very excellent job of representing the district, answered lots of questions, provided a lot of information, so really helpful to the process. The results of that were that they affirmed the district's A1 underlying rating and then assigned the A2 to this particular issue. So they provide rating rationale as part of the press release. The press release does continue on until through attachments page 10, and then 11, and then starting on attachments page 12 is the detailed credit opinion. So you'll see what they point out as the credit strengths of the districts: the strong local economy with above average resident income and full value per capita, growing enrollment they see as a strength, strong local support for education through voter-approved debt and operating levies, and then credit challenges. They still are watching that fund balance and saying that it's improved but remains, and I think it's slightly below, we think we're right on the edge, but slightly below the A medians. Capacity challenges, of course, giving growing enrollment, which you're addressing now, and then long-term liabilities ratio, they say, is in line, but will grow as you issue the remainder of your voter-approved debt. So your rating outlook is stable because they think the district's economic and financial performance will continue to support a strong credit profile. And then they provide key indicators, which you've seen before on attachments page 13. And then importantly, I'll also draw your attention to their scorecard, which is on attachments page 18. And you'll see that the scorecard indicated outcome is actually within the AA category. So we think that gives us some great hope that hopefully will move into that AA category again sometime in the near future. But they did, at this point in time, decide to assign that single A1 again. Questions on any of the information included in the report or the results that we received today?
Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
seconded by Ryan. Any comments? Okay, Dana, roll call?
Ryan Clark,
Approve.
Sharon Van Leer, Eric Tessmer,
Yes.
Pat Driscoll, Melinda Doles,
Yes.
Katie Schwartz.
Yes. Motion passes.
Great, thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity to be service to you once again and are very pleased with the results. So glad everything turned out so well.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to 8.2, and that is fiscal year 2023-24 audit results, and that will also be presented by Chris Blackburn, Director of Business Services.
I just want to thank Jody again for she and her team and all the work that they do with us in guiding my first time through some of those things, and so it was really lovely to work with her again. Good evening again. Information, I'm going to kind of summarize the report, but information relating to the annual audit of the district financial statements for the fiscal year 23-24 was presented by Erin Nielsen, principal at MMKR, at the January 2nd workshop meeting. The district again received a clean opinion. At this time, administration recommends acceptance of the fiscal year 23-24 annual comprehensive financial report, special purpose audit reports, and management report.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pat, seconded by Eric. Any comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, on to 8.3, and that's board committees for 2025. That will be presented by myself. Board members shared their preference for committees in December of 2024. I reviewed the preferences, and the 2025 committee assignments were shared with board members via email on December 27th, 2024. I have not received any questions about assignments from board members at this time, so can I get a motion to approve the 2025 board committees?
Moved. Second.
Motion by Sharon, seconded by Melinda. Any comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, on to 8.4, and that is proposed policy changes, and that will be presented by Julie Nielsen, Superintendent.
Thank you. This evening, we are bringing forth for the second reading 4 policies. As a reminder, these policies were reviewed January 2nd during our workshop meeting. Excuse me, the policies 101, legal status of the school board, 101.1, name of the school district, 102, equal opportunity education, and 103, complaints, students, employees, parents, and other persons. And so those have been reviewed, and I am asking for approval this evening.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Melinda, seconded by Sharon. Any comments?
Yeah, Chair Schwartz, I have a comment. Regards to all the policies except 102, I'm prepared to approve those. 102, however, I must give my opinion on that. It is my understanding that the language used in policy 102 is written in conjunction with MSBA standards. And MSBA standards are written in conjunction with Minnesota Statute 121A03, which is in regards to athletic programs and sex discrimination. And I understand the necessity of the school board to go along with or conform to Minnesota state law. However, I would strongly urge the board to vote no on 102 specifically. Send it back to the administration to see what, if anything, can be done to delay potentially the approval of this policy. And the reason why is that this policy, in no uncertain terms, opens the door to persons with male genes and male anatomy into women's sports in the school district as well as women's locker rooms. And although I have sympathy for individual students and families that are struggling with gender issues, and I truly do, I cannot in good conscience vote to approve this policy because I place at a higher priority the feelings of safety that our female students are required and need to have in not just their private areas, but also in the benefits that they receive with their sports. Thanks.
I would like to second Eric's comments. I feel the same way. I think it's prudent for us as a district to maybe pull this back and fully understand what this means and what type of risk this brings to our district, what risk this brings to our female student athletes. Given some of the comments that we heard even today, the policy by itself, at face value, no issue. But is this a Trojan horse, or is there ulterior motives with this? Perhaps. And if that's true, then it's incumbent upon us as a board to understand what this really means, what that means in relation to the law, the Minnesota state law, what that means to the federal law, which is likely to change very soon. And I think it's important for us to think that through before we vote on this. And so I was going to put a motion forward to table this for now so we could have a discussion about this as a board and really understand what this actually means, what are the risks involved for everybody, ultimately. And to Eric's point, I feel for folks who have these gender issues, but there is an element of truth at play here, and I think that our role as school board members is to bring that forward. So.
We did bring this forward at our last board meeting, and we did at that time ask if anybody had any concerns, comments, questions regarding that, because we do have to have 2 readings of this policy. At that time, neither of you mentioned any issues with this policy. Superintendent Nielsen also spoke to you that meeting prior to the meeting, and you also did not mention having any issues prior to that board meeting. These policies were also emailed out 1 week prior to the January 2nd meeting. The policy committee did not hear any comments or questions from either of you regarding that either. So at this time, I am going to ask for all those in favor. All those in favor of approving these policies, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to 9.0, Superintendent Report.
This will be just very brief. It may seem like a slower time as it relates to events. However, it's probably one of the busiest times when we talk about student registration, staffing, and laying out the groundwork for next year. In addition, our construction projects continue. As I look in the back row, our assistant superintendents are in many different meetings as we begin breaking ground on some of those projects. And then finally, for students, there is no school on Monday as we recognize and celebrate Martin Luther King, as well as an opportunity to view the 60th presidential inauguration. And so a wonderful opportunity for our students to take a little rest and then come back for a 4-day week. But thank you again to our students for being here. They are truly amazing, and they give the adults and the leaders just great energy. So thank you, students.
Thank you. 10.0 is future meeting dates. February 6, 2025 is a school board workshop meeting here at the District Service Center at 6 p.m. February 20th, 2025 is our school board business meeting. It's also here at the District Service Center at 6 p.m. With that, 11.0, and we are adjourned.